Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So today we're talking about virtual assistants. All right. Now you guys know that I use virtual assistants, but I don't think you guys really understand how many that I use on a day-to-day basis and what it's done for my business and what it can do for you. Okay. I use virtual assistants. Chauncey use virtual assistants. Many agents are out there using virtual assistants to take away the tasks that we don't like to do, or that's very time consuming, but are necessary to run your business. And you need to have VAs to help you out these days, or somebody has to do it. Now, let me just say this. You can have a individual in person do things with you. I definitely advocate for having an in-person assistant as well. But you can also have a virtual assistant and they can do a lot more in some ways. So I want to kind of go through that a little bit. Real quick, let me change my background because that thing is bouncing all over the place here. Hold on, let's put it on fall. There we go. It's a little more calm. How's that? A little bit more calm. Okay, cool. All right, now, real quick, let's go ahead and just jump right into this.
I'm sorry,
Right.
did you change something? Because I didn't see anything when you first changed, when you said, all right, nothing happened.
It's my lights.
Oh, okay.
It's my lights. You know, I'm all fancy. I went from this is the fall feature here, and the little dancing lights in the background. That's the fire. So I feel like that's a little distracting. All right, then we'll go to sunset, make it a little bit less distracting, or we can go to meteor. Now I'm just showing off. All right, let's get back to the real deal. I'll distract y'all with lights. Okay, so as you guys are looking right here, these are my 4 virtual assistants that I have at the moment, and we are growing rapidly here. So I got a couple of these guys on. Jash, y'all know Jash. Jash is usually here all the time. Oh, he's trying to get into the waiting room. Hey, Marge, watch that waiting room for me, okay?
Puppy.
And you guys will hear me say things like this: Jash, Marge, do this. Jasper, do this, blah, 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 because these guys do quite a bit. So let me tell you just quickly how my virtual assistant journey has gone and how I got to these 4 individuals right now. I first started doing VAs about 3-4 years ago, and I went through a company. I think I used Virtual Desk or someone like that. Started with them. Long story short, you pay the company. The VAs get maybe half the amount that you would pay them. And so therefore, I was paying like $8 or $10 an hour, and I was only getting a part-time individual. Okay. So let's do the math. I think I started out with an $8 hour person, $8. Yeah, $8. And I think I got maybe 20 hours a week out of them. Right. So eventually I was paying $640 a month for that 8-hour person, and they wasn't doing a whole lot. Okay. And I didn't know how to manage them. And so I barely talked to that individual. We didn't have a relationship. And so once the task was done, then I was pretty much done with what I needed that person to do in my mind. And I just didn't understand I could have done more. So then I went and got another company, and they kind of helped me understand to do it a little bit better. It still wasn't as advantageous until I finally came across Sphere Rocket, who I paid them a finder's fee. We'll talk about that later, to go get a VA. They taught me how to manage VAs, which was invaluable. Right. And then eventually I do a very different program with them now, but it brought me to the point to where I am right now with these guys. Okay. So let's start here quickly. First things first, let's start with Jash, because Jash, I know he's supposed to be off today. This is how dedicated this dude is. He's supposed to be off. Jash is the one who runs my coaching program for the most part. So he works with all of our coaching clients. He does the one-on-one meetings with them that I'm doing. He builds a lot of these presentations and things that you guys see. He books out all the individuals for the group coaching program that we have here, right? He takes care of a little bit of my social media. He does quite a bit. Hey, Jash, real quick, can you just tell them about what your duties are and how long you've been with us and everything? Oh, maybe he isn't on. I thought he came on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's not on yet. Okay. Well, I'm gonna speak for Jash. How about that? And I think he's also supposed to be off. He's visiting his grandmother, I believe. So he's off at a place that doesn't have good reception. So he is on, but he probably just doesn't have good reception. So let me just say this: this couldn't happen from time to time, just like with us. cell phone reception, whatever can be bad. But what Jash does, Jash manages my entire past client engagement. So when it comes down for me standing in front of my past client, he's the one that sends them postcards. He's the one that sends them happy home anniversary. He's the one who also sends them a text message saying, hey, Sascha just wants to reach out to see if there's anything he can do for you on a monthly basis to keep and stay in front of them to go ahead and bring those referrals in. How many of you guys, by a show of hands, are doing those type of things with your past clients every single month and stand in front of them and make sure you're touching them? Anybody?
No.
Yeah. So that's just one of his duties. Okay. Victor says he's doing that. I expect you to get that hand up there, Victor. Good. All right. Here's another thing. So Jash also is the one who helps organize our different past client events, whether we're doing a mixer or we're in out a movie theater. He's the one who runs all of that. He also is the one who schedules out my coaching clients. He updates my courses. He's the one who posts all the videos that we have here from our training. He does all of those things, and those are invaluable. So if he goes to get me one coaching client and brings one coaching client my way, right, he potentially pays for himself and the others with that one coaching client, depending on what they're going to purchase from us at that point in time. Okay. Not to mention, if you look at all the reels that we have on the Coach Sascha business page and whatnot, that's him. That's him. I'm just getting in front of a camera, smiling, saying some wonderful things, and he takes that. He also goes through and repurposes all of my social media from a coaching standpoint, or past YouTube videos, and turns those into reels. And people started hitting me up all over the place because of the social media marketing that he's doing. So that's what Jash does for us. Mars, can you walk us through a couple of your duties, what you do for us as well?
Hi guys, my name is Mars, and I'm actually the marketing assistant. And what I basically do is all about CRG, or Chatman Realty Group. I'm actually handling all the social media, and also managing the website, basically, and doing the email, all the email tasks, especially for drip campaigns and for other stuff,
Yeah.
agent spear and marketing email as well.
So he's being very modest about that because that's not a small task. So we talk about drip campaigns. In fact, our next meeting is going to be about drip campaigns and KV Core. So let me just be very clear what Mars has done. Mars has built out my buyer drip campaign, my seller drip campaign, my cash offer drip campaign. He's built out our new construction drip campaign. He's built out our Homes for Hero drip campaign. He's built out, we have a veteran drip campaign. Our past client engagement emails that we send to stay in front of our past clients, he's built all that out. He also reminds me to do my video for BombBomb, which I forget every single time. So he does that. When a new agent joins our team, he builds out their BombBomb and builds out all of their templates for them. In addition, and let me just say, these drip campaigns, here's the deal. If I say, Mars, I want to create a drip campaign for foreclosures, which is something I want to do for pre-foreclosures. Mars, I need you to go create me a 22 email drip campaign. That's all I'll say to the guy. And then he does the research, and he starts using the different tools that we have and starts creating a drip campaign. Now, how long would that normally take me? That would have taken me a month to actually do, okay? Because I don't have the time to do it. So he does all that. He also goes and he'll go find us scripts for reels and videos and whatnot. I say, Mars, I want to make some videos. I want to make some reels about buying or selling a home. He'll do all of that. And then he, not just for myself, he does it for myself and the rest of our agents on our team. He takes all the content we have from Keeping Current Matters, and he sends that throughout the team to make sure these guys are actually using it, and we have content to be created. He and Jash are both Canva masters. They're in the background building all of the stuff that we have in Canva, right? And making sure that we have nice, professional looking content all day. He runs my YouTube channel. He posts all the videos for YouTube. He does all the description, all the hashtagging, all the SEO stuff of that. And then he's constantly updating the website. So he's a little modest about what he does, but what he does for me is invaluable. And since he can't do drip campaigns, he's also creating ads. So I asked Mars this past weekend before his shift was over to create me a couple campaigns, one for new construction, right, for a couple of our agents. And then I told him also create one for open houses. I don't do that anymore. He does it. And then he connects that to my Real Geeks and connects it to the proper drip campaign. That's not a Sascha thing anymore. It used to be a Sascha thing. So let me ask you guys, if someone did all that for you, would that help?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so let me just, before I go to the next person, what are the tasks that you're doing right now that you like, man, I wish I don't want to do this, that you hate doing, but you know is necessary? Put in the chat or comment real quick and tell me, what are those tasks that you know you have to do?
So Sascha, for me, this is Ray.
Okay.
There's a lot of tasks that I want to do. It's just kind of thinking of, like, how to put it all together so it gets to the point that I never do it. You know, I'm going on 3 or 4 years in the business and I have no past client management because I'm always thinking about, well, how do I put it all together? What should I should I have a system first before I hire somebody to pass that system on to? But it sounds like you have people that already know kind of like the best practices. You just give them the idea of what you want and they can kind of take it and run with it.
It's a little bit of both. So what you got to keep in mind, Ray, is this: you don't have to have the system. It's a great question. In order to pass it off, they become part of your system. These guys are a vital step in my entire process. In fact, if you were to look at some of the zaps that I have created, you're never going to get away from let me say this: you're never going to get away from having people steps or people have to take something to do for you. That's just not going to happen. Great example, Z-Buyer prospect list. When we do our Z-Buyer leads, we get those in, it goes pretty seamlessly. But if I want it to be put into HomeBot, Jasper does that. Or if I want him to go pull the prospect list off of Real Geeks, off of Z-Buyer or whatever, I have Jasper do that. I don't have time to go through that list and do that. I don't. So I have him do that. So part of your system has to be your virtual assistant as a part of it, okay? The tools that you'll never buy enough tools out there, guys. Okay. And I'm a tech head, y'all know this, to completely cut the people out of it. You need someone, even if you have the tools, these guys are managing a litany of tools. They are utilizing said tools. And in a lot of cases, they are the tool. You know what I'm saying? So, Ray, if there's certain things you want to have done, I would argue and say that you can go get your virtual assistant that's going to touch and love on your past clients all day. So let me just say this a little different. If you was to go get a virtual assistant and you paid $600 or $700 on a monthly basis for that individual to love on your past clients and to make sure you stand in front of them and to set you up with a breakfast with them, let's say 2 a week, and that turns into referrals, is that not worth it? I mean, is that not worth it? Right?
Yes.
It's another book of business that you're not doing at all. Right. And you have to look at it from that perspective. Let me talk to you guys about Jasper. Jasper, are you on?
Hey, boss. Yes.
All right. So Jasper he's not the newest on the team. He's the second newest. I just brought Jasper on, and Jasper is the second person in this role of lead manager. I brought somebody else in. It wasn't a good fit. And I also didn't manage properly. So we're going to talk about us managing our VAs as well. But Jasper's been with us roughly about, how long you been with us, Jasper?
Almost 3 months, boss.
Almost 3 months. Can you tell these guys about how you start your day and what it is that you're doing every day?
Yeah, sure, of course. So my main job for Sascha is I help him call leads. So that includes FISBOs, expireds, sellers, and buyers, because that's what we mainly do. So I call about roughly, depending on where the CRM is coming from or the leads are coming from, I call about 260 to 200 people a day. I help him set appointments. This could either be phone appointments or physical appointments. or as we call it, listing consultation appointments. I also help him with managing his agents' leads, those who are not calling and are calling. I also help him with transaction management, so that includes dot loops, sky slope, and showing time. Also, as what you mentioned earlier, I help him with this lead management. So that means whenever new leads come in from our CRMs, I help him manage and place those specific leads or people where they belong to. So for example, we manage Houston, Austin, DFW, and San Antonio.
Yep.
So those are a few of the several things that I do for Sascha. I help him with.
So let me just talk about this last one he just talked about, guys. It sounds like it's a small thing, but it's really not. So we have a lead source that comes in all over Texas. Okay, so it's mainly feeding Dallas, Houston, and Austin, and it's a good lead source, right? But it comes into one spreadsheet that then he takes that lead and puts it on the appropriate spreadsheet, right? By doing that, now we have a zapper that kicks over. If you put it on the Austin spreadsheet, it's going to kick over to my Austin website, to my Austin CRM and Real Geeks, alerting the Austin agents. Okay. Same thing for the Houston, and same thing for us in DFW. The issue or good thing we have is that we have a ton of San Antonio leads that are coming in. And currently we're not down there in San Antonio. Okay. And for those who are MoneyBadger, so I reached out and said, hey, I need a San Antonio agent, right? And so now what we've done is we finally found that person take on those particular leads. They're not on Chatman Realty Group. So now that individual is going to work those leads at an X percentage from a referral fee. And do I have the time and energy to manage and make sure that that person is doing yada, yada? No, Jasper's doing that. So now Jasper is also becoming a referral coordinator as well, of working our referral leads for Chatman Realty Group going out and coming in. So our database of agents that we're growing at a gigantic rate. That's not yours. That's not yours. Go away. Sorry, my puppy trying to get my food. At a gigantic rate. Now, Jasper is going to manage those referrals coming in. Now, I will tell you, I do know individuals that have one individual who just handles all referrals. That's their entire job, is a referral coordinator, virtual assistant. And that virtual assistant makes him a lot of money and does it from that perspective. So I'm getting these guys to do multiple jobs, but as we get bigger, we're going to get away from that because Jasper is so good in calling leads. I want to keep him in doing that. I want Jasper to keep calling and setting me up with listing appointments, because in a weekly basis, Jasper will set me up with somewhere around 5 phone calls with sellers and about 3 physical listing appointments right now. Now it's my time to go, and he's setting them up. I'm knocking them down at the end of the day. Right. So you have to consider this. When you get to a certain point in your business and you still want to stay transactional and you still want to be in front of your leads, but if you like myself and you're running a team, you're doing this, you're running apps, you're running an education program, it is impossible unless you have the right type of back end support. Okay. These guys are invaluable. Where I plan to take this is, and Jasper and I had this conversation this morning, is to go get 4 or 5 more Jaspers. Now, why? Because if I can put another person like Jasper around my Houston agents and have them calling these and setting up agents for an appointment, who would not want that? If you're a brand new agent in the business, we can set you up with buyer and seller appointments and you can just be set up to go knock them down. Is that not a good model that you would like to work in? Not to mention, I got Morris who's going to put together the back end support for you from a marketing standpoint, who's going to teach you how to do your reels, who's going to give you scripts for YouTube videos, et cetera, and your drip campaigns are set up. So when I tell you guys, we're poised here to grow with Chatman Realty Group, this is why. These guys are doing so much more. And we just added on J-Lord. J-Lord is our video editor. Essentially, Jash is J1, Jasper's J2, and J-Lord is J3, because this J stuff be killing me sometimes. You know, J3M is what we call them, they could be a boy band. But J-Lord does all of our video editing. He edits all of our YouTube videos now, our reels, and I am pumping out a lot more content. You guys have probably seen me pump out a whole lot more content, and that's because I'm not editing my own videos anymore. These guys are invaluable to what they're doing for us at the business. And I plan on pushing them and growing organizations under each one of these guys so we can do more to bring more agents in, but also help these guys and grow their business and their aspirations as well. Let me just pause here real quick. Open this up for questions. I got more to talk to you guys about, but I want to answer some questions as well.
Yeah, Sasha, this is Brandon. I guess this is either directed toward you or Jasper, but when in terms of calling leads, like, is there a script you and Jasper run through first, or like, does Jasper has experience on this first? Like, I guess, how do you vet the process and how does that whole thing work, put together?
That's a great question. Yes, he has a script. So Jasper came with already having experience in calling leads. Jasper, you answer first and I'll come second. How about that?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically coming off from experience. I've been in the calling industry for collectively 3 years. So it's really like second nature to me. But Sasha did provide me with a script. So for me, scripts don't usually work for me. It's too robotic to hear on the phone. It's very, very obvious. So I just stick with my own free flow of conversation. It's more natural to hear.
And so let me expel on that a little bit. I'm not a big script guy myself. And for those who know that about me. I rely on my knowledge and ability to take the conversation where it's going. Right now, everyone can't do that. Be very, very clear. Everyone can't do that. So when you do get a person like Jasper, it's nice to have someone who has experience, but then give them scripts, especially if they have not worked in real estate. So Jasper and I are trained. He has scripts. We have tie downs, but we also have, and this is where you got to come in at. Okay, you as a business owner, we have a decision tree, okay, that Jasper goes down based off where the conversation is going. If a lead is pushing him one way, he knows what the outcome we're really trying to get to. He uses that decision tree to try to get them first of all, in-person appointment. Okay. And we use the same concept I'll be teaching here. If we can't get them to act now, we try to get them to act sooner. If we can't get them to act sooner, we take them down the next logical step. Right. And so he's constantly standing in front of them from that perspective. Now, let's say he gets a flat out no. He gets a no. He's going to follow up with them. He's still going to send them our cloud CMA, right? He's going to say, Sasha, you need to make a video CMA for this particular individual. Okay, they're on the fence, but I think you can close them. So we have this back and forth dialogue all the time. Sasha, we need to send it. He'll send over our client testimonials, the link to that. He'll send over the link that we have for cash offers, for Zudilio deal or whatever, right? The tools that we have that I give to my agents as well, he's using those tools. Brendan, does that help?
Yeah, it does. And I guess you may be getting to this later, but how do you find?
You cut out the how do I what find, or I heard an F.
With Jasper and the rest of your team?
Did you say how do I find them?
Correct.
Okay. I went through Sphere Rocket. You know, we'll talk about that in a little bit of a second. So we'll come back to that. But I use Sphere Rocket at first to find them. I'm gonna give you the whole reason why I like to go through them versus doing it another way. But we'll talk more about that. What other questions can I jump in here real quick?
Yes, I have another question, maybe more directed towards your staff. Are there any agents where like the virtual assistants is just not working or not working to the level that it should be because of more so the agent and not the assistant itself?
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful question. Yes, I sucked at it, right? To be honest with you, when I first got virtual assistants, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't respect what they did. I didn't respect how I could use them, and I didn't truly understand it. I literally got a person, gave them a task. I showed them how to do one task on BombBomb, and that was it, right? And then I realized the task that I was giving that individual was probably a task that takes 5 to 10, 15 minutes to do, right? Let's call it 20. Let's call it 20 minutes, right? And they did the same task, the same individual task over and over and over and over and over again, right? I didn't have the vision nor the imagination on how to use them. But that's also because the company that I went to didn't help me understand that. Okay. So I'm going to be clear. when it comes to managing a VA, you have to be pretty good at managing VAs. If you think you're just going to get a virtual assistant, guys, and then not talk to them, and they're out of sight, out of mind, they're just doing a task for you, that's not going to work. Okay. We have a standing, ongoing meeting. In fact, sometimes I feel like I meet with these guys too much, but you have to pour into them to get them to learn. I will give you a great example. When Mars first started, Mars, unmute yourself here. When Mars first started, Mars was literally just posting a couple of things on social media, right?
Mhm.
Mars
Yes,
didn't know how to do drip campaigns, but now if I say, Mars, go do something, they bring me back options. Okay. They are now bringing me back options, and they're critically thinking more like an agent, or how I think as a business owner at this point. So Mars, I want you to explain, how do you feel about that? Your evolution from starting now to where you are, or when you first started to where you are now.
Yeah, basically I was going 1 year already with Sasha. So me and Jazz is actually going 1 year already. And when I started with Sasha, I'm only doing, some posting stuff and some marketing stuff as well. But when I actually getting my sixth 6 month to Sasha, I already understand drip campaigns and all other stuff that we are doing right now. I'm also doing web management, website management. So basically that's on Real Geeks. So I actually do some, what I call this one, updating it. So if you're going to our website, so it's already updated. So I'm making it on in our branding colors as well. So make sure that
They changed
our
my entire branding without, guys. They literally updated the brand, came to me and pitched me these new maroon blue colors. I'm like, I ain't asked for that, but I'm not mad at it either. Now we're maroon. It looks sexy. I look good in it. I'm like, oh, I even got the maroon shirt on today. So they did that, and I had no one doing any SEO work for me. Now Mars does SEO work every single week. I can count on the fact that he's going to go and update these 6 of our area pages every week and do some high level SEO work on it. He's going to blog for us. He's going to create a lot of content, and then he's going to push it out to the world. The biggest issue that I was having, guys, is that I was creating content that no one saw it. Anybody else got that problem? You spend all this time creating the content, and then you don't promote it, you don't market it, because you don't have time to be on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else. I don't do that anymore. They do it. But it goes back to how you manage these guys, and if you're going to put the time and energy into them. Let me share something with you guys, for example, here. Okay. I want y'all to see this. This is Asana. This is one of the tools that I use to manage the VA. So for Jash, here's tasks that he has to do every day, right? Here's his coach Sasha management task, right? The weekly emails, posts, and let me be very clear about expectations. I'm showing you guys this so you have a clear understanding of expectations. You cannot say to a virtual assistant, go grow my social media by X number of people. No, you need to give them a task. How many posts did you expect him to do every single week? Right? I expect him to create so many emails. I expect him to update the course. I give these guys instructions of when it has to be done, and then these tasks are put on repeat. How he's supposed to manage my mentees and my downline, reconcile my mentee list, making sure we don't miss anybody that comes in from EXP, weekly texting our individuals, managing our the mentee request that comes in from EXP, scheduling a mentee group one-on-one, YouTube videos, okay, creating nice thumbnails, make people want to click. He goes out and finds me scripts for YouTube videos, create the YouTube script, meme for videos, go find it, go find me graphics for support, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to now start doing my monthly market report. Well, I need someone to go do the research and go find things for me. Here's his social media duties, right? So let's just say LinkedIn invites, creating reels for me. If I just keep going and going and going, this is how I am working with the guys, is I'm giving them tasks that they need to do on a routine basis. And then at the end of the week, I'll get something back from these guys like this, right? Of here's all the different tasks that they got done, they got completed, right? And here's a couple notes and stuff like this that we need to kind of go through. They have their task list to work off of that they know they need to work and get completed. I know that they've done that. And then if there's an issue, we discuss it. That's literally what we're doing. On a
Sasha,
consistent
when
basis.
did you know you needed this? I mean, sometimes I feel like I need to help. You know my story. I'm still working full time, and there's just so much that I don't have the bandwidth to do because, like you told me, you know, I need to work on my business as well as working in my business. When I'm done my first job, I'm literally jumping into working in my business because that's the time that I have. That's when, you know, clients are like, oh, I want to go out to see properties, or, you know, that's when I can actually get in front of people. And it's just trying to, you know, I want to put these things in place, and we talked about this.
That's a
It's
great
just
question.
trying to figure out when do I, you know, my thought was, I know someone personally who's looking for a little part-time job. She's an admin by trade, but like she doesn't have a realtor's license. So I'm like limited to what I think she can do for me. And I don't think she may be as tech savvy as you, or, you know, I'm not tech savvy. We talked about this. So like,
Right.
I need someone that's going to be able to help me with these things, like the social media, things that are going to help me grow, but also things that I don't have the time to just put, like, I need to do it, but I don't have the time. So when do you know that you're ready, when you're only doing 1 to 2 transactions a month? But I know I could do more if I had some help, or I
Right.
ditched the first job. We're
This is a
getting
great
there.
question. So I'm gonna answer this question in a couple ways, okay? So
Okay.
I'm gonna answer it for different types of folks. All right. Let's say you're let's start with a full-time individual. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter if you're full-time or part-time, it doesn't matter. If you have gotten to the point to where you are working on your business, you're working in the business so much that you're never working on your business to improve it or grow it, it might be time to get a virtual assistant. Okay. That's for sure. Like, I knew I needed a virtual assistant when I consistently was selling 30 to 36 homes a year. And what happened to me back then, guys, is I was heavy on social media, but then I would disappear from social media for weeks on end. And why was that? Because I was out slinging houses. I was so busy showing homes and so busy doing listing appointments that social media didn't matter. And then that would fall off. And then I would have to start that back over again and again. If you want to stay social and you really want to keep your social media strategy or something to that nature, and you're consistently starting a strategy of yours over again and again and again, because you can never consistently do it, it's time for you to look for some type of help. Okay. Whether that be a virtual assistant or a company. Now, I prefer virtual assistants at this point in time because most companies, I've realized, are using virtual assistants. And you're just paying this big fee to believe you're going to get some marketing genius doing this. Okay. These guys do not have to be real estate agents to understand how to do marketing, understand how to make calls and set appointments. They don't have to be, like, for example, Jeff, he's going to ask a question in a second. Jeff has talked to one of my VAs before. He didn't expect him to have all the answers of a real estate agent. That's kind of understood. But do they understand enough to set an appointment of what I need them to do? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, if you have gotten to the point in your transactions that you are stuck and you can't grow beyond where you are, and you have this thirst to do more, you need help. All right. That's those ways when I knew I needed a virtual assistant. I knew I could do more, and I knew that I could not do anymore. There's only 24 hours in a day. And I was going to rob Peter to pay Paul. So I was either going to take time away from my family, stop going to church, okay? Or I was going to stay up to 2:00 every night. And I did the 2:00 every night thing.
But
And then I was
guess
angry and cranky.
my other question then to you, Sasha, is if in your state, do you have limitations on what can be said and not said if you don't hold a license?
No, not really, not in Texas.
See, in Jersey, it's a
No.
little different where they can't even talk to you about, if you have an assistant and they're not licensed, they can't even tell you anything about the house. They can't say anything. It's really like they can't. So then I'm stuck.
Well,
I'm like,
these guys don't answer those type of questions. I still don't allow them to do that. What Jasper does is call in for a Z-Buyer lead and say, hey, you requested a cash offer. My team leader and I, he's going to get together and start working on that process. We would love to talk to you at 5:00, 6:00 about your cash offer. That's what we're doing. He's not asking about, a transaction, anything like that. So you can give them scripts so they don't break the law. And
Okay.
it's going to be different from per state, but that doesn't mean you still can't use them.
Okay, I
Right.
just want to know because I feel like, and again, and I want to monopolize the time. Because I work full time, I know I need the help. Because when I'm off my job, I'm out there doing my business, but I can't build my business because I'm out there working in it. So I got to find that.
You
the
need some
right
type of help. Yeah.
fit. I need, someone that can help me, someone that can help manage through even just setting appointments and things. It's just hard to be able to do everything. But like, I'm not saying like I'm doing such great, robust business, but I feel like I have the potential if I could just extend myself.
Right. I would just say, here's the task that you all need to do. And we're going to move to Jeff here. Here's the task. I want everyone here to start writing out a list of everything that you do. Okay. And you're going to categorize these things as this: must have, like first one needs to be this: must have, must do. That's something that you have to do and only you can do it. Okay. Second step, the second column is going to be this: must have, it must be needed. Must have, it's a must have, but anybody can do it. And the next one's going to be, would like to have the stuff done. When you start writing out all the different things, you start realizing who else can do it. Like, I do not input my listings in the MLS anymore. Jasper does that. Now, he doesn't make a listing coming soon or active, because I go back and I look at that work and make sure we've done it properly. But just the inputting of a listing, I don't do that anymore. That takes a lot of time. So I've given little tasks like that over. And what I can do is post my task list that'll help you start thinking through that around the things that a virtual assistant can do. All right, Jeff, you got a question?
Yes, sir. I've got two, and you just started to answer it, I think. And that was, how much of the stuff that these gentlemen are doing are you reviewing before it's actually going live or whatever it might be, whether it's a blog or SEO or a listing or what have you? So that's one question. And then the other is just around transaction management. And are there any tricks or pitfalls that you see in using a VA for transaction management?
So first thing, let me just say this: when it comes down to anything around a listing, I'm a control freak. I've got to see that. Okay. Because once it goes out into the world, I'm the one who's responsible, whether it be for me or one of my agents or whatnot. So they still don't do that. They will only take it so far as like inputting in the MLS. Okay. And then we go through a number of approvals throughout the day. So a good part of my day, this is a great question. As a person managing the virtual assistant, I ask them to do said task. When the task is ready, even when it comes to social media posts, these guys are constantly sending me requests and say, hey, is this okay? Is that okay? Is this okay? And I'm constantly looking at that. So let me give you guys a good example here. Okay. This is communication back and forth for me and Josh. He put this presentation that we're going through together right now, and, from thumbnails, all this information they're putting together. And I'm constantly going through and say, yep, that's good. Nope, that's not. No, I just want to see what you think. What's the ideal stuff coaching would be? We're constantly going through this stuff. Even when it comes to Valentine's Day for my wife, these guys are doing stuff like that. And it's a constant back and forth of approving, right? Let me give you a good example with Mars here. Okay. Here's a great example, right? And I'm saying I need you to put together some ideas for new construction. So he goes and gives me some images, and then he go give me some text. What do you think about this? And I'm like, I like this. No, I don't like that. So we're constantly going back. But once we figure out what we like, now we have a template that we're working off, and it's a lot easier, Jeff, right? Because they're going to work off of a certain type of template every single time. Same thing with my video editor. We want to get to the state to where we have a template, and now the task becomes routine. But I'm constantly giving these guys new things, right? But this is
I see that you're doing that through Slack.
Oh yeah, Slack is a must.
Okay.
It's a must. It is a must, and it's not just.
How does that differ from that? The other one,
Asana's project management. Asana is not always needed, but if you're going to be dumping a bunch of ideas and a bunch of different things, and you want to, Asana is good to give them on routine tasks that they need to do every single day or weekly. So I really like Asana. Some people like Trello. For me, you need 110%. You need Slack, and you also need I think you need Asana, because if not, you'll be typing everything in Slack, and it'll become tedious.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
All right, and then what about that transaction management? Any pointers on how to make that work well? I know you and I talked about
Well,
this.
for me, it's the same thing. I make it work well for my agents when it comes down to transaction management for, let's say, writing contracts, right? These guys are writing contracts. We all know we're filling in contracts, but everything's put together on a template, right? So these guys know that it's on a template, but I have different tasks that are up and pushing them. When something is completed, I'm pulling all my technology together. For example, if an agent has a deal that goes under contract, they fill out a Google form that says deal under contract. Okay. Then what that will do with Zap, we use that, and this is the system that you and I have been discussing. It's going to send it over to the virtual assistant to pull that information, get the picture from that agent, and then post that we have a new deal on the contract. At the same time, a VA is then going to take that information, take that transaction, because we're in EXP here, put it into SkySlope. Okay. So they've been trained on how to use SkySlope. Just start a transaction in SkySlope, update .loop, because we write our contracts in .loop. And so now that entire process is going. Great example for one. Let me find one here. Jasper just started doing this process for me. Let me see. Right here. Okay. So here he is sending me a message. Hey, boss, I don't know the urgency. I've been checking several weeks now, but there are only 3 documents required for this particular listing that we have. So he put everything, it moved all the documents from .loop over into SkySlope for us. Okay. So that's a task that I would be sitting here for like 30, 40 minutes and doing myself. I'm not doing it anymore. He's doing it. Right. So now he's just checking to see what's going on, because that at the time, this particular listing wasn't under contract yet. So I think we just got it under contract 2 days ago. So now there'll be new docs for him to slide up over there. But this is the type of communication that I have going back with these guys. I know that task needs to be done. It's filed somewhere back here in the back of my head, right? I just got a million other things in my head. These guys are now tasked around that to do it. So, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is start documenting your SOPs and your processes that you want them to do. And then they'll do it over and over and over again. So now when something like this happens, I don't worry about it, because I know that it's going to be done. I just have to check in. Or better yet, they check in with me, I should say. Does that answer your question, Jeff? Y'all keep them coming, man. I got a couple minutes left. I want to get y'all these questions in, because these are really good questions. A lot of people get nervous about using VAs, but they can do a lot. Here's what they've done for me. Hold up. Well, we're going to let it ride. I did it wrong. They created this presentation right here. Before I started using virtual assistants, I was a solo agent. I did about 5.8 million. Then I started down the path of doing virtual assistants. Now we're sitting here, 12 agents, 4 different markets, 42 million. I got 4 virtual assistants. I launched my coaching program. I've launched my referral management program now. These guys have helped us bring in income in 4 different ways that I did not have before. Okay. Now, you may not have those aspirations to do all those other things that I'm doing, but I know that it feels pretty good that I am managing 3 businesses that are hitting 6 figures, working on a 4th is about to be 6 figures. And it's really through the work of these guys here. And frankly, by the end of the year, I'm probably going to have 10 virtual assistants working for us here for all of our real estate empire, if you will. So they have been invaluable.
Sorry. At one point, did you have a transaction coordinator? And then I guess if so, with the VA, does that kind of remove the purpose of having a TC?
I'm not sure who asked the question, Brandon. Yes, I had a transaction coordinator. But I'll be very honest with you guys. When I started creating templates in .loop and templates in SkySlope, the need for a transaction coordinator became less and less anyway, truth be told. Because let's take the last year. Last year, there wasn't a lot of negotiating once you got a person going under contract. Not really, because of the market we was working in. I didn't need them as much, truth be told, right? So if you look at the way we have everything written, 90% of our offers were written. So only thing I needed a transaction coordinator to do was move stuff over. Right. So I figured I could teach one of my VAs how to do that. So then that eliminated us the need of having a transaction coordinator at that point in time. The only thing I'm missing is that these guys do not write any contracts for me. They don't write amendments or anything like that. And realistically, I was just never a person that was super comfortable allowing somebody else to write an amendment for me anyway. I've let it happen a couple times. That's because I had trust with that individual. But I mean, like right now, I am only trying to knock out maybe 30 deals this year at the most. I can knock that out myself. I mean, I got my iPad. I can write an amendment up in my sleep, right? But everything else, that's it. They're moving it. They're taking care of it. They're making sure that we have all the docs, everything signed. They communicate to the title company, all that stuff like that. But I will say this, and my VAs will tell you, I have put a lot of time into these guys. I have consistently used BombBomb to do screen recordings to say, this is how you do this task. This is how you do this task. Here's expectations here. So it's a constant going back and forth. If they do make a mistake, that's going to happen, correct, get an opportunity to do better. And we do that quite a bit.
So Sascha, the Jasper, he's doing the calling and everything. Accent sounds great. I mean, you can't even tell he's from overseas, which is awesome. So he mentioned that he had a background of calling before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I am right now, because I need to be able to leverage somebody calling. So with his background, is it telemarketing background? Is it calling in the real estate industry? I mean, what is that exactly?
Jasper?
Yeah. So Victor, it's a mix of customer service. Specifically, it was with T-Mobile, and I also did a year with real estate with Century 21.
Okay, so customer service background, got it. Okay.
And when it comes to going to get somebody, guys, we could be very specific about what we do to help you. So let's talk about how we go get them right now. We can go get them for you right now as well. Let me just share the screen here real quick. Like I said, we have another company that we didn't have before, and that's what we call Boss Builders ISA. In which what we'll do is we'll go get the virtual assistant for you. We can even train them on how to use the systems that we know how to use. That includes Real Geeks, BombBomb, how to work Z-Buyer leads. It also includes KV Core. So we can get them, train them, and then help get your stuff set up to the point to where you're working off of a system. I want to be very clear with this. You have to have this put together and working through a system to make it more and more effective. So that's number one. If you just need one person, we can go do that for you. Number two, I still am a part of Sphere Rocket's accelerator program. That allows me to go do VA replacement and go get as many as I want to, but I'm paying a monthly subscription of $1,000. Now, for me, that made sense because, frankly, I would have to pay them $4,000 every time I had to go get somebody, right? And I knew that I was going to have at least 4, if not 5 VAs by the end of this last year, which is where I'm at right now. So that's how we went to go get these guys. But when you get ready to go find somebody, the process is to document what you want them to do and the tasks that you need. And then we discuss what are those goals and what's the right type of VA to go get. And then start the interview process to go get said VA, and you interview a couple of them and go from there. I was very, very clear that I needed a VA that didn't have a thick accent. Like Mars has a little bit more thicker of an accent. Mars is not talking to anybody. I could care less. Mars is writing, he's in the background doing stuff, right? And we're able to communicate perfectly fine. Jazz and Jasper, or Jazz is talking to agents, Jasper is talking to potential real estate clients. So I wanted to make sure they didn't have a real thick accent. So you can definitely do that. And you can get these guys with different levels of experience. Okay. And the model I like to put into place, I like to have multiple VAs. I want to pay them on a base rate and then give them bonuses based off of their performance so they can make more money as well. Does that make sense?
Yes. So what does boss builders entail?
No, let's go with that. Boss builders. So boss builders is what we do. If you want us to go get you a virtual assistant, we'll go get that virtual assistant. And then we'll also train them on how to use certain aspects. So the packages, they vary. Let me just say that it's $3,000 if you just want to go get a virtual assistant and get them trained on how to, let's say, use Real Geeks and whatnot. Okay. Now, if you have something totally different, I can't train people on something I don't know. So I'm very upfront with folks about that. But we also have packages to where, for example, it gets up to $4,000 when I'm developing an entire system for you, for them to follow and get done. We're going to do a couple of things. We're not just going to recruit the VA for you. We're going to do that. We're going to teach you how to manage them. That is so critical and important that you know how to manage that virtual assistant. We're going to recommend the apps. I've just showed you guys a couple of them now that you need to make sure that they're managed. Okay. And that you have a set standing meeting with them and they're giving you the right information to report out. So that's number 2. Number 3, it comes into place of developing your tools that you need to make it better. For example, I can't do everything. If I did, I would be sitting here managing these guys all day. There comes into place with Zapier. We will share with you our Zaps and help you create your Zaps that you need to start and get them going. So Victor, you've seen this before. Well, we have different forms that we've created in Google for people to submit different things. And what happens is once we submit, like for our video editor, once we let me pull a form up real quick. But once we do that, it then kicks over here. So like, here's our video edit. Can y'all see this form? Here's our video form here. This form goes with what the video is, the title, the description. We upload the BombBomb link, what type of category it is, who's the target audience, location, any local businesses, any logos that are needed from that business, right? If it's YouTube or short form. Once that's put in place, and here we got 23 responses, this is now going to kick over to Zapier and send it over to our editor, who then is going to take said video. He gets the information, what he needs to do. I go in here, and then I set the pay rate, the due date, and then he goes through and he completes the edit. I go back, I check the edit, make sure it's done. Boom, 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 we're done. Now I'm paying this man, right? So it also kicks up in Zapier, and it tells Jash and Mars, depending on whose social media it is, because they manage different accounts, to start the editing, to create the to create the editing. I mean, not the editing, to create the thumbnail, start creating the description, and start the whole marketing process for that. So we'll help you develop things and tools like this as well. So all you're doing is getting a form filled out, something to that nature, to make it easier for you.
So just for clarification, Sascha, like this form that you're showing us, that's a form for you, not your downline, correct? This is, you fill this out and then it goes to the appropriate.
Yeah, this one in particular is for Chatman Realty Group. Yeah, so this is a video editing form. So all my agents will fill this form out, drop their name down, who it is. And so when they shoot a video, so we can get it over and get it edited. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's for any of you. Okay.
Yeah. And so depending what you need done, this is what we help you design. Because as a team leader, I'll tell you, you need a system to make it easier on you. If everything is going to be completely manual, that's a problem, right? It's not really giving you a true solution, but this is what we do with Boss Builders VA. We don't just help you go get and recruit a VA. We help you develop a system to make it easier for you to manage them as well. Because what I can do, I can go to another spreadsheet. I know we're out of time here, but let me wrap this up. I can go to another spreadsheet with Jasper and I can see exactly how many calls he's made, how many Real Geeks how many searches he's created. I can see how many people we put on for an appointment, how many phone calls, and then we go through the week and say, okay, what went well, right? And how many of those folks have we turned into and converted those leads over? So did I have a good week with Jasper or not? And there's a scorecard for me to see that. Exact same thing for Mars, for Josh, so we can see this and see if we're actually doing our jobs well. So when I give you guys the ongoing growth of how we've done our VAs, my VAs have grown with the evolution of our business, with the metrics that we need to know we're doing the right things daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and so forth. And that's what we do. That's what we're doing with the whole Boss Builder program. What I mean, look, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. What other questions can y'all answer? I'm not in a hurry today. My kids are off from school, so after this, I got to go do some dad stuff.
Hey, Sasha, I got another question.
Mhm.
If I were to only hire one VA at the moment, which one do you think would be the most important to start with?
Come on, Ray, I can't answer that for you. Man, I struggled with that question, honestly. I started with an executive assistant first, okay, because I needed someone to help manage me and my time and help me figure out what was the most important things to focus in on. And then I knew I hated social media. I can't stand it. And so that individual kind of managed both of those. And then I realized I tried to make one person do everything, right? And that wasn't a good thing. My camera just went out. Switching cams here. So I would say, do you need someone making calls for you? Is that more important in setting up on appointments?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just say this. If you can get someone like a lead manager for Jasper, Jasper's very key and important, because if Jasper does his job well and I get more deals, I can hire more help.
Right.
Okay. It's nothing against Mars. I love Mars to death, but Mars solved a time problem. Stuff I need to do because of his role. I didn't want to do that stuff anymore. Whereas Jasper has created more business for me. Okay. Jash also had created more business because he manages the coaching program. So when those two guys are doing their jobs very well, they're creating more income for me. And I can now invest more money back into the business. You see what I'm saying? So maybe you want to look at it from that perspective. But if you're in a spot where you're trying to get your social media to a certain place and it's terrible, I mean, you got to look at it from that. These guys are either revenue generating or time and money saving. In some cases, both. That's a really good question.
Are they managing your reactive responses as well, or is that something that you're doing? If
You mean from Real Geeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jasper, anytime someone gets on Real Geeks with a chat, he's doing that. Reactive responses, he jumps in on that. He also looks at the Real Geeks tabs at the very top, Victor. And he's looking at which leads do we have been active in the last 5 days with zero communication. So he said, hey, man, so you need to go talk to this agent X. Like they're not working the leads the way you need them to be worked. So he's doing all of those type of things. But yeah, definitely working the reactive responses. And he has a list of the past clients, because you can't turn that thing on and off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be me sending that text, oh, my bad. I just would text back, oh, this is Sasha's virtual assistant. My bad, I didn't mean to send you that text, because we know we can't change it or whatever. So he does a little bit of that for me.
So is that set up? How's that set up? How is it managed? I know, if I were to get it, it comes to my cell phone, right? So is he logging into the dashboard and communicating that way?
Yeah.
So okay.
He stays in Real Geeks. I mean,
Okay.
Real Geeks is up on his computer every single day. Yeah.
Got it.
So he's getting a desktop notification, whereas I'm getting a text message.
Got it.
Well, actually, I don't even get a text message anymore. I took those off. I get the notification through the app and just let him do it through the desktop.
Okay. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
same thing when a new lead comes in. I literally have him set up, Victor, in Real Geeks like an agent. as another user. He gets his own pool that comes in, and basically my leads are just turned off and he's working mine.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's a great question.
Would you recommend having something like Real Geeks set up first before you start a VA? Because I know what you were harping on is like, we need a system for sure.
I think you could do it at the same time. We have lots of coaching clients now. We're helping them do this at the exact same time. You know, for example, we do what we call our Ultimate Real Geeks package, and we build out your Real Geeks drip campaigns. We build out your templates and stuff like that. It's important, if you're going to get a virtual assistant, to get them to do that with you. I mean, here's the thing, Brandon, you can always come back and pay me to do it again and again. But what we do in this one package where we go get your VA, put your Real Geek stuff together, right? And get you started and jumpstart you from that perspective. But we train that VA on how to do that as well. That way you don't have to come back to me, right? And they know how to just build out from the core of what we built for you. Because once you have the core of what we built on the Ultimate Real Geeks package, I mean, everything that's I teach and I'm talking about of creating multiple drip campaigns, your VA is doing that, right? Because if you order the package, frankly, I'm gonna put Mars on it. Mars is gonna go out and build it. Mars builds like 3 or 4 of these a week now for people. Okay, that's how good he's becoming doing this. So that's what we would do. If I was in your shoes, I would do both. Does that make sense?
That does. Thanks.
Yep. What other questions do you guys have? I want to make sure I am getting you guys all your time, because I can, like I said, I actually got a little bit extra time so I can talk a little bit more about this.
Sascha, why did you guys choose Real Geeks and not any of the other millions of options?
That's good. Couple reasons. Cost was one. Okay. I wanted the most bang for the buck. At the same time, Real Geeks is very customizable, meaning that Real Geeks, I've managed and moved it around based off how I think, right? So it's the one CRM website combo that I can create my drip campaigns, my sources, and everything based off how I truly run my business, and everything wasn't that customizable, right? The other thing is, it's easy to use, and my agents can use it pretty easy. Whereas, we get KV Core for free with EXP. It's a little clunky. I looked at it, I still do have KV Core, but at the end of the day, if people weren't going to use it, it's useless. And that's what I saw. And so I wanted something that could rank on Google with my website, number one, easy to use, and I can control my cost. I have 12 agents using Real Geeks right now. And I think when I originally get Real Geeks, it's like $300 for 3 agents, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like $25 an agent after that. Very, very cheap. And it's very easy for me to manage. And they do really good with my real leads. They run my Google pay-per-click ads for me. So I paid them to do that as well. But that's why.
It plays better with Google, Sascha? Is that what I heard? Real Geeks plays better with Google than KV Core?
Yes. I mean, let me say this. You got any CRM you guys get or any website you get, you're going to have to work on it for the rank on Google. It's a consistent thing that you have to work on with SEO. That is a dogfight. But with Real Geeks, I can do that. I can literally tell Mars, go write me some SEO field blogs, give me some SEO field pages, and now he can do that. Like, man, I went through so many other CRMs that claimed they could do that, and they couldn't do it. And you would never find that website on Google. So, and the more I do that, the more natural free leads I get from it. I get roughly about 25 to 30 free leads from Real Geeks just from the SEO work. And I noticed that's been slipping a little bit. So we need to work on that a little bit more, honestly. But that's why. That was a great question. Here, I am going to leave you guys a link here real quick. For anybody who want to talk more with me about this, schedule a one-on-one time with me here. Here's my calendar for a last chat session, and we can figure out how we get you going more with this. If this is something that, floats your boat, something that you think you need to do, we'll get that over to you guys. What other questions can I answer for you guys as well? I'll keep them coming. Did I change anyone's mind about using a virtual assistant today?
Yep.
Yeah, you changed my mind about it.
All right. Now your homework. You guys' homework is to write down the different tasks that you're doing right now that you don't want to do. Right. And we'll get it. I'll shoot a bomb video real quick and I'll send it over to you guys for y'all to kind of check out. And I'm gonna give you guys here, I'm gonna put this in the chat real quick. This is a link to what we was talking about on our bomb drip campaign. I mean, ultimate Real Geeks campaign. I'm sorry, let me say it right. So you guys can check that out. And here's one that'll take you to the Boss Builders ISA program that we do as well. Ooh, there we go. Any other questions out there, peeps?
I think you may have posted the same link twice. I'm not sure where that's a.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. I just realized that. My bad. I would just say this, you guys can read through that anytime you want to, but if you want to talk more and more about what your actual business needs are for a virtual assistant, schedule one-on-one where we can talk about that and help you kind of figure out what makes sense. Because not everybody needs the same thing, right? And I would just say this, virtual assistants work best when you actually have a system put in place and you're going to have accountability. And that's what we're going to teach you how to do that. If you have those things, man, these guys are a godsend. All right. Any other questions? Hey, Jasper, Mars, you guys can go. Let's jump. We'll jump on a Zoom at 11:30. Okay.
All right. Thanks, boss.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, folks. If no one else has anything, I'm going to let y'all go. Hope y'all got these links. I will get this email out to everybody here and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Sasha.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Have a good week.
Oh, for everybody, next week is going to be drip campaigns with KV Core. We're going to go over that. And I think Rainey's going to be teaching. She's going to teach you guys how to do that. And then we'll get the rest of the schedule out for the rest of the week, because after that, it'll be drip campaigns and Chauncey's going to be teaching. And then I'm going to bring in my home inspector to have him teach a class for us as well. All right, peeps.
See you later.
See you guys.
See you guys.